here's where we get that moment, right? Not one, not two, but they announced 3 games. So that actually adds up to a total of 8 games that are currently developed at
Wow.
LucasFilm Games. So we have Star Wars Hunters, which is from Zynga. It's going to be more of their mobile kind of action game that you can do like free to play and stuff. That's going to be hitting like mobile devices and stuff later this year. Then we just last week got the gameplay trailer, April 5th. We got Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga. We have whatever's in development over there at Ubisoft. We have the KOTOR remake over there at PlayStation and the other studio that's making that. We have, if it ever gets off of the ground, that the Star Wars Eclipse. And now we have 3 more Star Wars games. And what I love about this is just if you take a step back and look at all the genres that they're covering, you got something for everybody here. I mean, we already have the flight sim with Star Wars Squadrons. Now we're going to get a first-person shooter, and the fact that they specifically didn't say it was multiplayer right off the bat, you think they would lead with that if that's what the game is going to be mostly about. So I'm thinking it's going to be more of like a single-player, maybe have multiplayer elements, but that could be a whole topic for another discussion of like what these games could be, especially like we don't really know any information about them. I'm super excited about a strategy game. This is something I've been wanting for a long time, right? The last strategy game that I really played and found myself loving was the Star Wars. What there was something that was like you're controlling different vehicles and stuff like that.
Empire
at War. That's the game. That's the game. Thank you, Dominic. It's been such a long time since we have that, and then we have something in the Jedi series, which is probably going to be the sequel. I've been saying, oh yeah, they could use Jedi as that title and kind of go to different eras, but I they didn't really like specifically confirm that it's the sequel. But I mean, it's pretty much, we got to see where Cal goes from here on out. On top of everything else, so I love the variety. The fact that they're sticking with specifically one studio at EA, which is Respawn, which is very interesting. This company, Respawn, cannot do any wrong. Like these guys, everything they put out is a hit. They put out this team originally was a lot of people from Call of Duty Modern Warfare, the original one. And then they went on to create Titanfall 2, which are cult classics. People love those games. Apex Legends, which is just killing it as far as a battle royale first-person shooter. And then they have Fallen Order. So they can't do any wrong. And the fact that actually one of the people that's going to be working on the new game is going to be somebody that worked on Battlefront, the original 2000,
Wow.
the original Battlefront, right? So that is really cool, seeing that connection there, seeing that EA is maybe giving their other studio, DICE, that did the more recent Battlefronts, like they haven't been doing too hot, I'll be honest. They put out Battlefield 2042 last year and it just kind of fizzled and went. So it shows how much like Lucasfilm Games is shifting. They still want to work with EA, which some people might not like that a whole lot. But the fact that Respawn is the one that's in charge, because they proved themselves with Jedi Fallen Order. Not only is it a great critically appraised game, but it sold really well. So we're going to have those little departments filled by all these other kind of game companies. And it's just a great time to be a gamer now that everything's not just with licensing with EA. Now you can have something with Ubisoft. You could have something with, the people that the Lego games or whatever at this point. So for me, it's a really promising future. And just seeing like games that could be first person shooters and strategy games thriving is going to be is a treat. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Hearing you lay it all out like that, like it feels like it just makes me question the original decision to go exclusive with EA in the first place.
Yeah.
Like, because clearly, EA's there's benefits to working with EA. We're going to work with they had great success with Respawn in the past, and we're going to get more games from that same studio, which is terrific. But it just feels like there's so many more options now that it's out of their hands exclusively. There's family games, there's games for people who are nostalgic about 2003 with the KOTOR remake, and there's a bunch of different types of games that are being made at a bunch of different places that could that will hopefully yield very exciting results. To go back to the cynical part of me, I have to ask, what's the over under on how many of these games get made? How many of these are we actually going to see? Like the optimist, I feel like, says we'll see all three. The realistic optimist says we'll see 2 out of 3. The pessimist says we'll see one out of 3, and the uber pessimist says we won't get any of them. But I don't know. I'm hopeful that that we see these ones through. Chris, Ben, what do you guys think? Where are you guys feeling on this announcement?
Yeah, so Fallen Order is one of my favorite Star Wars games of all time, and definitely my favorite kind of new era Star Wars game. Like I enjoyed it a lot more than I enjoyed Battlefront, and most of the other stuff hasn't even inspired me to even try it because it just does not look interesting, like some of the mobile games and stuff like that. So this is exciting. I mean, I kind of feel like at least the announcement about there being more in the Fallen Order franchise, like that was kind of telegraphed. Like I think we had heard kind of stuff along those lines before. So like, it's kind of like this isn't like an extreme level of excitement here because I'm not really hearing that for the first time, but having it confirmed and more information about it is super exciting because I am going to be, I picked up Fallen Order and played it the day that it came out, and I'm going to do that with whatever this game is because I did enjoy it that much, and I'm excited to see what they could possibly do to improve it too because I thought Fallen Order was pretty great. Like there wasn't a lot about that game that I could have imagined being better. And they definitely seeing what EA did and DICE with going from Battlefront 1 to 2, I felt like 2 was definitely a much more solid game than 1. So I'm very curious to see with more time to develop what this is going to be like. So yeah, I'm super stoked for that, and I'm also very intrigued by the other games. I have to obviously hear more about what they are before kind of making a decision about do I want to buy this, do I want to play this. But knowing that it's Respawn and knowing the success that they've had with those other franchises and how much I love their Star Wars game, I think it's very likely I'll be interested in those as well. So yeah, this is an awesome announcement, and it's really great because I was feeling a little sketched out by the future of Star Wars games with the whole Eclipse thing going on. Like I didn't want that to be the only thing we really had to look forward to after Lego Star Wars. So I think that it's great now that I have at least 2 games that I know I'm going to really enjoy with the new Lego game and this Fallen Order spiritual sequel or actual sequel or prequel or whatever it is. Like super stoked for this.
Yeah, the one part of this that is a little bit weird to me, and then we'll get your thoughts on this in a second, Ben, is I would have thought a follow-up to Fallen Order, given how successful and beloved that game is, would deserve its own announcement. Like I would think like it almost felt a little bit buried in this announcement. Like it sort of felt like that should be the lead, that more that Jedi Fallen or Star Wars Jedi or whatever this series is called is going to continue, and maybe a teaser poster or something to go along with it. You don't even have to put a date or a year on it. You could just say coming soon, and go from there. But that's the one part of this that's a little bit odd to me. But that may just, we could get to Celebration in a couple of months. There'll be a big panel with a cinematic trailer and a teaser poster, and we'll just sort of go, oh yeah, okay, they were just saving it for then, which fair enough. And that seems to be their go-to move with all Star Wars marketing these days, is save it for Celebration. We can't do it any other time. We can only do it at Celebration. Ben, your thoughts on this announcement?
No, I obviously it's exciting. Jedi Fallen Order. I mean, excellent story. I mean, and so, just something. One of the many things. There's like so much positivity around it, and it's so great to see that, and to see that we're getting a second one. And the whole wording around like the Star Wars Jedi franchise, of like, okay, it's not just going to be Jedi Fallen Order 2. I above all things, I know it's petty, but like I appreciate a good creative title and especially just putting
Mm-hmm.
something two on the end of it that's been done since the beginning of time. So like, I'm glad that they're being creative with this, and the whole idea of like, maybe it will be a sequel, maybe it will be Calcus, maybe it could be something else, maybe they could expand it to something else, could be a different character, could be some newer characters, could include Cal, could be a prequel, who knows.
Mm-hmm.
I like kind of the expansion of this, and I think they know they've got some gold here, so and people love it, so like that's great. I can't freaking wait to watch it myself, because I'm researching consoles. Okay, all right, I'm gonna freaking play this game one of these days.
Will this come out on Switch? Can the Switch
good question.
the Switch that Ben
I
and I are gonna buy
doubt
next
that,
don't
week?
actually.
think that's
No.
that I've been thinking
Uh-oh.
about Switch. I'm like, man, I'm not gonna be able to play Jedi Fallen Order. Maybe I need to look into something else. Just to leave it there. But I also one of my favorite games of all time is Empire at War. That
Mhm.
game, and to hear
Mhm.
strategy game, that piques my interest a little bit. The whole idea of maybe bringing something like that back and doing something in the modern era, better graphics, a lot more content to work with.
Yep.
Man, if they did even something even remotely close to Empire at War, I would be all over it.
Here's the thing, though. Okay, so I looked up the Reactor. They're a brand new studio. They have experience with Civilization games as well as XCOM. So XCOM,
Ooh.
here's the thing. The strategy genre could be a very broad explanation of actual games
Yeah.
inside. Like you can have a strategy game that you command armies, obviously like Empire War. But you can also have strategy games that are like XCOM, which are like you have a small tactical squad of maybe 3 to 4 characters that all have their own attributes, and you have to go get cover behind things and stuff like that. And when I say things like that, I'm like, okay, just like make us a Bad Batch style game like that.
Or like
yeah,
like the new
you know.
Guardians of the Galaxy game, where you're
Yeah.
kind of playing one character and you kind of
Yeah.
get to like tell the other characters what to do.
So something, it could be either way. Like that term strategy could mean a lot of things. We can go in completely different directions for that. So
Yeah, it'll be
Really
interesting
exciting.
to see what these wind up being. Star Wars and gaming has been around long enough that there are sort of examples of of a lot of different types of Star Wars games, and people have a lot of memories of what those were, and a lot of
Star Wars
nostalgia for
2048. Let's go.
'em. Bring back Tiny Death Star. That's what I'm missing.
Star Wars Angry Birds.
oh, that was actually a lot of fun though. I played
was.
a lot of that.
It was. So it'll be interesting to see how they build on what's come before, how they acknowledge what was there in the past, while also bring them into the new age. What'll be curious, with the strategy game and the history with Empire at War. Do you think they pull a Battlefront and they go back to that legacy title and say, oh yeah, we're making, a new Star Wars Empire at War. It's not Star Wars Empire at War 2, but it's a new one. Do you think that's a possibility? Or do you think that they're more likely to just say, no, this is Star Wars Galactic Battles or, something?
I think because it's been so long since that game came out, I don't think a lot of people would mind if they kind of not did a remaster, of course, but like remade it. So it's, current graphics, different gameplay style. I mean, the thing is with strategy games, they're typically PC games, because many of the strategy games, there have been some recent ones, but most of the time they don't run very well with gamepads, because there's so many commands and things like that. But I could see them dealing with like the Galactic Civil War still. I mean, that's like your biggest, either that or the Clone Wars, right? They're your biggest fronts of war for the most part, dealing with like large masses of troops and vehicles and things of that nature. But yeah, I could definitely, even if they don't name it Empire at War, I could see it being like the spiritual successor in a way.
Yeah.
Different title, but the same sort of gameplay.
Yeah, I'm sort of expecting that. We'll see where we wind up with it, though.